Hi, I'm here at Midsumma talking to two wonderful people from our community, from Team Melbourne. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who and what Team Melbourne is.
I'm Dane McManus from Team Melbourne and the Glamourhead Sharks swimming squad.
I'm Booker, I'm the President of Team Melbourne, and we represent all the GLBTIQ sporting and recreational clubs here in Melbourne.
So when you say represent, what does that actually mean? Why do they need representing?
Well, basically what we do is we create opportunities for the clubs to present themselves. So Midsumma Carnival, Pride, Sports Festival, other events throughout the year, because sometimes not all clubs have the ability to be able to get together and come to stalls and put events together. So we try and create those events and opportunities for them to come to something like this.
So Dane, then how does Team Melbourne help me, the individual, who might be interested finding out a little bit about sport? I'm new to Melbourne and I want to get involved with something.
Certainly if you are new to Melbourne, it's a great way to meet people and to break down those barriers of social isolation. So they can go to teammelbourne.org.au, our website. It lists all our member clubs, and they can then go to the member club websites and check out what those clubs do and find out if those sessions are right for them.
And what if I'm interested in a sport or an activity that's not listed on the Team Melbourne website?
Well, basically the same thing is they'll apply and come to Team Melbourne, and what we'll try and do is we have a lot of contacts. Sometimes they may not be a Team Melbourne member club, but we can actually pass that information on to those people. We do our best to try and match people up. It's very rare that we don't. Even if they're not a Team Melbourne club, we can actually contact one of the other clubs and give them that information.
And what do you think are some of the benefits for a person to be involved in queer sports in Melbourne, as opposed to just going and joining any club?
Look, I think, as you know, Melbourne's got a great sporting culture, and being a part of a gay and lesbian sporting group, or GLBTIQ sporting group, actually does help, as I said before, break down those barriers of social isolation, and it really helps you get fit again. So some of our members, especially with the Glamourheads, used to swim at school and probably haven't jumped back into the pool for a long time, and so getting back into the pool, actually getting fit and active again and meeting friends is actually a really great opportunity to be fit and healthy, both physically and mentally.
Lorraine, sorry, just on that, a lot of clubs have actually said to me on many of occasions that they consider the sport the third part of it, so the physical side of it, because for them it's about not only the social aspect but the mental health as well. So there's the physical side of it, but Beyond Blue that we're working here with today, the reason that they've kind of joined forces with Team Melbourne is because of the mental health and the social side that being in a sporting or a recreational group creates.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've been very fortunate that I've always played sport and I've been pretty good at a lot of sports, but I know that a lot of people in our community have had negative experiences playing sport at primary school or not playing sport, in fact, because of being excluded. So again, do you think that Team Melbourne and the various clubs have got a role in helping people overcome that experience?
Certainly, our mission is to create an environment and to develop sport, equality in sport, regardless of sexuality. So we try and spread that message far and wide. All of our sporting clubs have associations with their parent bodies, such as Master Swimming Victoria for the Glamourheads or Rugby Union Victoria for rugby. So they're developing those relationships so they can spread the message of anti-homophobia and anti-discrimination throughout the general sporting community, and I think that really is a benefit to those young kids that are out there playing sport. Hopefully those organisations can have policies that actually attack homophobia when it exists, and therefore making the sporting field, the pool, whatever the court, a welcoming place for young people who are questioning their gender or questioning their sexuality.
Okay, and so just to wrap it up, what are some of the signature events that Team Melbourne get behind and support throughout the year?
Well, we basically support, we've got our own events obviously with the Carnival and our Sports Festival, Pride, lots of things throughout the year, but we pretty much promote every club's event. So whether it be a volleyball tournament, whether it be a Masters swim meet, whatever it may be, because we actually utilise our website and our contact list to get it out there. One of our roles is to do everything to support the club. So our club will come to us and say, we have an event on, we get behind it to do what we can. And a lot of that at the moment, the role is basically getting the information out and making sure all the clubs intertwine with each other so they get to know each other and support each other's event. But any Team Melbourne club that has an event on, Team Melbourne is behind 100%.
And also So we have 3 signature events every year. So of course the sports precinct here at Carnival. We have a sports festival that we run every year, which is a give it a go session. All the clubs run a session throughout the day. It's a wonderful, fabulous festival environment, and people who are questioning whether or not they want to participate in sport can come along to that day and then check out a club, give it a go, jump in the water with the Glamourheads, jump on a boat with the Argonauts, and see whether those sports are actually something they want to continue. It's a really good day to bit of a
especially if you don't, especially if you're not sure. That's what's great about the sports festival. You can just come and try, or you can just come and look. You don't actually have to try the sport. You can just come and watch. When I started volleyball, I didn't think I was any good, so I just stopped for 2 sessions. I just watched, and I watched the beginners court, and in the end I thought, well, that's not that hard. I could give that a try. So I love that about the clubs, is that someone will be there to meet you and introduce themselves to you, and you can either just sit and watch, or you can participate until you decide what you choose is best for you.
And what about some of the bigger events like the Asia Pacific Out Games or the Gay Games internationally? What role does Team Melbourne play? Any role in that?
Yeah, so one of the things we try and do, and we have done, is unify the Melbourne teams. So we've created our fabulous Team Melbourne logo. We've got our uniform that unifies a team, and I was at the Antwerp Out Games a couple of years ago where we launched the uniform, and we really had a strong presence with about 100 athletes there in their Team Melbourne uniform, and I think it was very eye-catching to have that happen rather than all the clubs in their own uniforms for the opening ceremony. So that's what we do. We have farewell drinks to support the athletes, welcome home drinks when they come back. We have often have receptions whilst we're over there. We've had a reception at the Ambassador's residence in Copenhagen for the Out Games. Also in Antwerp, we had a reception there with the Australian Ambassador to the Netherlands, Antwerp, and the 3 countries.
So it's actually about fashion and functions.
Yes, basically.
Fashions and functions. I love it.
I guess one of the big roles when it comes to the Asia Pacific Out Games and the World Out Games is one of the roles Team Melbourne plays is making sure we get the information to the clubs. So not only can people get the information from Team Melbourne on website, but the clubs will have all that information, particularly about things like accommodation, where events are, things they have to be done by. And that's really important because every club will have a different role to play in their own sport, but it's really important that we get the information to the clubs and we have the information available to anyone that wants to contact.
And we also try and be a voice for queer sport, this queer sports community as well. One of the initiatives we've had the last 18 months is the One Games initiative, which is really trying to unify both bodies, Federation of Gay Games and GLISA, the Gay and Lesbian International Sports Association, to run one world event every 4 years and a regional event in between, because at the moment we have the choice between 2 international events a year apart and then pretty much nothing for 3 years, and we also have regional events between that, and it really does divide the sporting community because people have to decide which event they'll go to because of funding, in particular for people living in Australia. So what we're trying to do is push that One Games initiative. We're hoping to we hope we have had some traction. We've certainly had the European Gay and Lesbian Sporting Federation sign up to it, which is fantastic. One of the other things we do is try and, as I said, be the voice for gay and lesbian sport. And so, recently the IOC changed their policies and have actually included sexual orientation as an area for non-discrimination. So we're very happy with that, and we really want to hold them to account, and when they choose candidate cities, that they choose cities that actually have fair and equal policies for gay and lesbian citizens, unlike some of the cities that are bidding at the moment, particularly Russia, who of course hosted the Games last year. It's actually quite disgraceful that they can still continue to host a Games, host a Paralympics with the laws that are being discriminatory against the gay and lesbian community in Russia. So World Cup, of course, is being held in Qatar with an awful track record for human rights abuse for gay and lesbian citizens. So we want to try and push all sport organisations to think about the gay and lesbian community, both competitors and spectators, when they choose host cities for these events.
Yeah, it's certainly really important, and not just the comments Dane made, but when we're talking about World Games and so forth, I mean, just recently Cleveland had a very poor attendance, and one of the fantastic things about World Out Games is the huge amount of people getting together. And look, we can all travel and play sport everywhere around the world, but it's all about the fantastic experience we have. So if we can get one World Out Games and get the large amount of people back involved where everyone supports it, it would be fantastic. But I'll be honest, little Team Melbourne's come up quite strong, and we're really focused on some of the really important issues for the GLBTIQ community.
Alrighty, that's a fantastic wrap up. If I'm here at Midsumma and I'm got all excited about Team Melbourne and I want to find out how I can find out about clubs, tell me how I do that.
Well, probably the best way would be through our website. Would that be? That's probably the easiest way. I mean, or at events like today at Carnival, where we've had a huge amount of new clubs or new people approach us about different sports and so forth. But look, the quickest way is obviously through social media at all clubs.
Yeah, and we also have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, so members can join, but also a Facebook page people can find out more information. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, so lots of ways to find out about Team Melbourne and see whether any of our clubs can offer you something that hopefully will change your life, really.
Thank you so much, Dane and Booker.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.